Welcome to Speaker Leaks, powered by Mileage, taking you further. This is our very first episode, and we have my friend Jake Stone Music here. Hey Jake, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Thank you for having me on Speaker Leaks, the very first interview. I'm very excited.
Absolutely. I appreciate you taking the time and giving me the opportunity to interview you today.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Jake Stone, like you said. I was born and raised in St. Louis. Music has been an integral part of my life throughout my whole life, basically. Most recently, I'll go through more of my background in a little bit, but most recently I just got my undergrad from Washburn University in vocal performance. And the Washburn is it's a D2 little college in Topeka, Kansas, for those who don't know where that is. I went there on a football scholarship, so I played football there. As well as doing the music thing. Funny story, I wasn't even planning on doing music whenever I first went there. Yeah, I was planning on being a broadcast journalist with my voice. But I fell in love. I knew that performing was what I wanted to do, and it just kind of turned into that as I progressed in my development in my undergrad and my vocal technique and everything like that. And so now I just recently started to do shows and things like that this past summer around the St. Louis area. A lot of solo gigs. Right now I'm just a solo acoustic act going around to different bars and venues and things like that.
Nice.
And just playing wherever I can get business. And then I'll be going off to grad school this fall at the University of Missouri.
Oh.
Doing...
M-I-Z?
M-I-Z-Z-O-U. I gotta get used to saying that.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll be doing the vocal performance thing there as well, continuing to develop my voice. And hopefully getting more of a platform, getting more of a voice, getting more of a fan base per se, to try and get more connections and things like that.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Well, you're definitely going to the right place. I know colleges are the best place to grow a fan base, just because you have the younger population. They're looking for new music to absorb and to hear, and word of mouth.
Absolutely.
You definitely have a great audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in Columbia, true college town.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So word of mouth is going to be the most powerful tool outside of social media.
Absolutely. So I'm excited.
I can imagine. So tell me a little bit about how did you get started in music? Like, what inspired you to go into the music world?
So, my mother is, she's obsessed with Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. She has her own little shrine in her basement with all this Elvis memorabilia and records and things like that. And so I grew up listening to that and watching his films, his acting as well as his performances, and seeing him, swing his hips and be that transcendent figure that he was back in the day, something that no one had ever seen before. It was taboo to people. Right. I mean, the stuff that he was doing. But he had such an incredible and powerful stage presence. And I guess even as a toddler and a 4 and a 5-year-old, that intrigued me whenever I watched that and saw his charisma and what he was doing on stage. And it brought something inside of me that I wanted to do. And so... I was in first grade, and I got this handout from my first grade teacher. It was for a talent show, and I was like, "What? The elementary school has talent shows? I didn't." So apparently, I went to my mom, and I gave her this flyer. I'm like, "Mom, why didn't you sign me up for this talent show last year? Why?" And this little 6-year-old going up to his mom saying, "Why didn't you sign me up for this talent show?" My mom's like, "Well, what's your talent? What are you going to do?" And I told her, I want to sing and perform Elvis. And she was like, "Okay, cool." And so I had this little toy guitar. It can't even be considered a real guitar. And learned "That's All Right, Mama," an Elvis Presley classic, and did that at the school-wide talent show at Ross Elementary. And that's kind of how I got into performing. I mean, it was just something that I knew I wanted to do at an early age before I even knew that I wanted to do it, because it was something, because then I didn't really take guitar lessons or anything like that. I've always just been an entertainer and somebody who's just been very big and charismatic. In 7th grade, I did clarinet and choir. I got into choir class.
Yes, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown was one of the greatest Parkway choir teachers, along with Mr. Reeves and Mr. Fox, Foxy.
Ever. I mean, Renard Brown, still to this day, he's a mentor to me. I mean, I have lunch and breakfast with him frequently. We meet all the time. I mean, he's such a inspiration to me. And he was back then. I mean, even before, I didn't know I had a voice. And he had me stand up in front of the whole class and sing this scale. And he was going up the scale, just a major scale. And I just kept going up and up and up and up. And I remember feeling so surprised of myself that I just kept going. He kept making me go up, and I just kept going. And it was like, whoa, he helped me discover my voice. And since then, I've always been in choir, I've always sung, and it's just progressed from there, me wanting to do solos and things like that, and wanting to be the center of a group, and singing, and just performing for people, and getting my voice heard.
Absolutely. So what would you say, like, some of, like, the difficulties that you have finding your voice and getting to where you are now?
Well, it's tough because as a musician, most of the time they're perfectionists, and so it can be very self-crippling. As a musician, you face a lot of self-crippling doubt. There's a lot of doubt in your head over and over again if something's not exactly right, the way that you want it. It can be very tough, especially when you're trying to find a sound that you want. As far as my music goes, because I my whole life, since 6th grade as well, I've been balancing football and sports with being a musician, because I didn't always want to be. I mean, I love performing and things like that, but my first dream were NFL dreams. I wanted to play in the NFL. I wanted to play college ball and go on to the NFL. So that was where, I'd say it was about 70-30 of my focus was football, music. And sometimes I regret that, but at the same time, I can't do that because that's just where what I was meant to do at that time, and what my path, where I'm leading next, and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I think an artist and a musician is always trying to find that voice, trying to find something that sets them apart from the rest. But at the same time makes them, they have a voice and a sound that makes them genuine, and something that people can easily listen to,
Absolutely. So that's very funny, because I hear, like, a lot of artists that I talk to, they always say, well, music wasn't my first choice. It was just a hobby. I just so happened to find myself singing or producing or writing lyrics or writing songs, what have you. So with that, do you find that having music not as a first choice, more so being a hobby, was that helpful for your development, or was it just something that it kind of fell into your lap and you found that you enjoyed it?
I think it really helped a lot, because I think people can easily get burnt out by things really easily in life in general. I mean, I know that I played football for 10 years, and from 6th grade on through college, and I was burnt out. By the time I was done, it was like I was almost relieved to be done. It's like once I realized the NFL dreams were gone and it wasn't a reality for me, I had to come in touch with reality and realize, you know what, I got to go for something that is actually plausible for me to make a career in. And so I was like, well, I'm passionate about music. I've always been passionate about being a performer. And so it was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, I was already majoring in it as well. Right. So it was just a no-brainer that when I was able to focus all of my time into music, and that's when I really felt like I started to develop even more as a singer and a songwriter.
So I know earlier that you mentioned that you perform at local places. So tell me a little bit more about that. Where do you perform, and are you performing original songs, or?
Yeah, I do a mix. I do original stuff as well as covers, because I mean I'm still, like I said, I mean a lot of my time, all of my time, or 70-30 was going into football music, and so it was tough for me to constantly pick up the guitar or sit down and actually write lyrics when I had so many other things going on. But I do covers and stuff like that, and I do the originals that I have. I do a lot of covers, a variety of genres, all the way from, 60s, 70s, Eric Clapton, the Eagles, a lot of my influences that I love to listen to, and then all the way to Mumford & Sons, Jack White, White Stripes. I just recently started to delve into performing, live performances and stuff like that, because I figured I have a vocal performance degree. I'm not just gonna. I can't be stagnant. I feel like whenever you're stagnant as an artist, you don't grow, and that's the main thing you want to do as a musician and an artist is continue to grow and develop and learn. I mean, that's the only way you're going to progress and get your name out there. I mean, that's the only way you're going to connect with people. So I just started doing that, and some of the places that I played at are just little bars in the St. Charles area. One is Parrots Bar and Grill. Oh, nice. They just started to come back. They were away for a little while. They had to shut down for various reasons, and then they just came back. Great little bar. Another place that I played at is Timothy's Irish Pub. Bombshell Bar and Grill was a really fun one down in St. Charles Main Street. Right next to the Q, actually. It was a really cool venue. Yeah, it was really cool. And then I also played at a benefit concert for the SLI organization, which is Sheltered Living Incorporation, helping those with mental disabilities, those who cannot live on their own anymore, and things like that, elderly, and helps them find a home, find a place for them to live and get assistance where they need it. And I played at a benefit concert there. It was a lot of fun back in Topeka, Kansas. So it was kind of a homecoming for me because I got to go back and have all my friends that I went to college with and come see what I'm doing. You know, they see me on Facebook and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, cool, we should come see you." And I got to come to them.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. And then most recently, I've been asked to be a regular performance act at Candici's Italian restaurant over on a Holloway and Holloway and Manchester. That's where it's at.
Okay.
Great place, great venue. I love playing there. It's perfect for my music as well because I don't feel like I have to be too loud. It's kind of I'm more of background music, and I like doing that with some of the because a lot of my singer songwriter stuff is very laid back, kind of meditative, reflective, things like that. And so it's nice that I don't have to worry about, because with the other big places, the bars and stuff, sometimes I worry about that I don't have a full band and stuff. And so it's tough because people are there, getting wasted. And it's tough for them. I've had instances where they're screaming out, "Oh, play Pearl Jam, play this, play this." I'm like, no, I'm going to play what's on my set. I mean, I haven't gotten to that level yet where I can just play what somebody shouts out. Eventually, I want to do that.
Right.
But it's been a lot of fun as a new artist. I've been doing this all myself. I've been reaching out to these bars and these venues. I mean, I can't tell you how many bars and venues I called in the spring. Probably about 20 different places. I just looked up who had live music. I'd call them up. I'd say, "Can I speak to who's in charge of booking live entertainment?" I'd tell them a little about myself, give them my website, which Platinum Media Group did a fantastic job on. I can't be more happy with the results from that website. But yeah, and I've learned so much, not on a musical standpoint, but on a business standpoint as well, and how as an artist you can't just expect to post stuff on YouTube, post stuff on the internet, which it is vital in its own sense, but at the same time, you got to get out there. And I realize that you got to get your name out there. You got to get your brand out there. You want people to see you face to face. You're not just, a robot or whatever.
Right. They want to see the person outside of social media. You're more than a Facebook profile or a tweet or a follow back.
Exactly. So, yeah. So I've been really happy with the outcome of that, and it's my first summer doing that, so I'm excited for what's to come in Columbia as well, and talking to venues down there. But I've learned a lot as my own bookie, my own promoter, things like that. It's a lot of fun, but I've been learning a lot.
I can imagine. So with that, you're seeking out these opportunities. No one is approaching you for them.
Nope.
So what would you say, especially with being in the St. Louis market? We have a very unique platform in St. Louis. So what would you say as far as being an artist is the best practice or the best way to promote yourself as a musician?
Yeah. I would say another thing I like to do is I like to go to open mic nights and play there. That's a good way to connect with other artists. there's a lot of great places around here. The Wolf, Picasso's, are a couple of them, and that's a great place to kind of go up there. You play 2 or 3 songs, 5-10 minutes. You say who you are, and if you keep going back there, you start to make connections with these other artists and these other guitar players, these other singers, these other very talented musicians that you may not know about on social media and stuff like that you've never even heard of. But then you connect with those people. I think that's a great way to kind of promote yourself. Another way, I think social media, I mean, it's growing so much. Obviously, I mean, every year it's enormous. And I think that's a huge way for artists to promote themselves, obviously. I mean, join different groups, Artists of St. Louis, or, different things like that, and just trying to get out there.
Right.
And I think the old-fashioned way of just getting flyers out there and posting them around, the area, that's another way. I mean, I'm still learning different ways, but those are the ways that I really I focus on.
Absolutely. And one of the best things is with promoting yourself as an artist, there's no right or wrong way. It's pretty much just a learn as you go process. Yeah. So as long as you see there's results and you're getting guesses and you're getting more fans and you're just getting your music out there even more, then you're doing great. Absolutely. If you're getting no's, then you take that as a learning experience. Exactly. And no doesn't actually mean no. It just means next opportunity. So
exactly. Completely agree.
Yes. So I know earlier you mentioned like some music that you listen to. So right now, what would you say is your current playlist? What's leaking through your speaker right now?
Okay, so I don't have a particular playlist per se. It depends on the mood I'm in. I could go from listening to Johannes Brahms' Fourth Symphony. Since I'm trained classically, and I'll be in the car. It's kind of bad, but I'll be listening to that in the car and conducting it, because I just enjoy doing that and getting into it, the classical music. But then some days I'll sit there and, the latest beef with Eminem and Drake. It's like I've just been bumping so much Eminem, because I just love listening to that guy, But then some days I love listening to this red dirt country band called the Turnpike Troubadours. I mean, I just try to be very eclectic with what I listen to, and it all depends on my mood. I don't really have a particular playlist, a Spotify playlist, but I kind of try, and before my ride, I mean, I always have to have music when I'm in the car. Always. I mean, even if the drive's 5 minutes, I gotta have a song playing. I can't. It's just weird just sitting there.
Just sitting there in the silence.
In the silence, yeah. I'm just like, okay, well, what do I do?
So I'm gonna look at the road.
Yeah. I'm gonna focus on the road. Just kidding. But yeah, no. So that's kind of how I choose, my playlists in my car.
Nice. I'm pretty much the same way. I can go from listening to Bach to listening to Future. So there's no clear path of music that I listen to as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's the best way to go.
Absolutely. So
cool.
Thank you so much for coming out today, Jake. I really appreciate it. Can you let everyone know where to find your music and where to follow you?
Yeah. So you can follow me on Jake Stone Music on Instagram, Twitter. That's my handle on those 2 social media sites. And then Facebook, my fan page is Jake Stone. You could like me on there as well. And then I also have my newly released 5-song EP titled The Beginning. I released that at the end of March. You can find that on iTunes. You can stream it on Spotify. It's on Google Play. Basically, any platform you can think of, it's out there. And yeah, it's kind of a culmination of the first songs that I ever wrote, hence The Beginning. It spanned over a long period of time of songwriting. So there's a few genres involved, but I think I created a very distinct sound with the different instrumentation that I used for the songs. And everything like that, but I hope in the future that I really narrow down what my sound would be for my next project.
Absolutely, it sounds like a great name, The Beginning. So yeah. I'm interested. Like, can you play a track from?
Absolutely, I would love to. Yeah.
Thank you. So I appreciate that. Yeah. So Jake's gonna play, and here we go.
Stay a while. We're
just the other day to try and clear my mind. It didn't work. Now all I've got to say is that I wasted my time. Listening, but don't hear anything at all, except for the thunder echoing in the hall. It reminds me of your voice in my head, 'cause it keeps me awake and it keeps me from bed. I'm remembering when you used to be around, but now well, you're nowhere to be found. Oh, I'm so lost. Where can I go from here?